In a city as progressive, beautiful, and diverse as Los Angeles, it's easy to think that we figured it out and that the racial healing process isn't needed here. But when you start to dig into our local history and the disparities in many of our communities, you realize that we too have deep traumas, a yearning to be heard, and a need for connection.
This is a womb of art and a womb of healing art. You can come here on any given day, is racial healing happening here. Because we don't got no choice. It's in our culture. This is how we roll to be sane. You know, sanity's like gold.
I really grew up here. My father talking about the cultural legacies of our people through the music and learning how to communicate our ideas through music in order to open up, to show pictures and paint pictures and to take people to places where people who might not have the luxury of traveling, that poetry is supposed to help people do that.
Music is a healer. I think that's its intention. I think that's how it comes through. When a person's really connected with music, it can't do anything but heal.
We used to have relationships to plants that our ancestors had, and that there's just like that uncut lineage that's been happening for a lot of our communities because we don't have our medicines near us. You know, the work that we're trying to do is really just bridge that connection. With experiencing like racism consistently as people of color, the plants do something really tangible. You know, they address that in our body. They address that in our spirit if we know how to use them.
Events like this, where we're touching things and we are touching the herbs and smelling them, I think that's a very radically rebellious thing to do.
Currently, there are a lot of tensions, inequities, injustices, and the blanket exercise is one way to ground people in just the basic information and knowledge about the Native American history and experience.
I found the blanket exercise really moving. They did manage to encapsulate this very long history, and in discussing different past events, it helped to see time as a pattern of these different cycles that are occurring. I think it's just an opportunity to learn more and to sort of remind ourselves about things we may know but we've forgotten. It's a chance to talk more deeply about issues in person and with that human connection.
Joy is an act of defiance, especially to the climate that we have right now, where we are made to believe that we are so different, that there's the wrong side and right side. It's black and white, where reality is never like that. Capoeira is an art form that started in slave communities in Brazil. So it's a way for a culture that was under attack to maintain its heritage through music, dance, really joy, to celebrate these people and not make them disappear, to still tell their stories.
I also believe that capoeira was a manifestation of all these different cultures coming together in Brazil. So when you have all these different languages, dances, arts being forced to come together, then we can start to open up about other issues and topics that we're dealing with just on a day-to-day basis.
The subtext of what brings people like us to form community at these events is the fact that we are isolated.
And we're not meant to be isolated. We're meant to live in conjunction and communion and community with each other. So yes, gathering in space and coming together in community is also a healer.
There are people of different backgrounds, colors, languages, ages, and the process has to include us all for it to be effective. And even though our approaches may be different, the fact that we're all at the table makes me hopeful and grateful.